right, welcome to Good News Friday. Mike Simon is here. I'm Joey Yarber. Happy Friday to you. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day, community collaboration. So we're talking with this group in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we had this great conversation hearing about their goals. And the lady that we were speaking in, her name was Mary Ann. She was talking about, she'd already seen a demonstration of Charity Tracker. So she knew what a great case client management system it was. You know, you can keep track of all kinds of information when it comes to data on a client that you may be working with and assisting. But here's what Mary Ann said to me, Mike. She says, well, you know, the great thing about it, she says, I love all the great features that you have in Charity Tracker, but the one thing that really got me excited was the ability to collaborate, to work with others, to share, to be able to view their info all in real time, working together on the same page at the same time. She summed it up quite elegantly. And that's the truth. That's the truth. When it comes to working together, Charity Tracker just merely provides you the platform to do so. And how important is that, especially in today's times where there's crisis all over the place. There's always a natural disaster somewhere in the country. I mean, the weather is unpredictable and you never know when something bad's going to happen. But if you've got a Charity Tracker network of agencies that are working together already, you're going to be optimally best prepared to deal with those types of crisis situations. But, you know, Mary Ann summed it up really nicely, Mike. We've got some great features, and we do, but the ability to work together. Love that stuff, brother.
Well, you know, it's not rhetoric when we say community should work together.
No.
It'll happen if you want to make it. And George McLean down in Tupelo, Mississippi, there is a famous case study about Tupelo, Mississippi.
Yeah.
And he said one time that there's nothing a community can't do. It's unlimited if it wants to. And he's a part of collective impact strategy before it was even popular language back then. He started back in the 50s.
Yeah.
And he figured it out. He says, you know, people who are in poverty and hunger in our community, if we really want to have our community prosper, they've got to prosper because they're the ones that go into your stores and buy your goods. So they have to prosper. So we have to work on human development of them and raise their development up and then work in the community. And he figured it out and it works. And he started all kind of stuff down in Tupelo, and it's worth looking into. So if you haven't looked into it, it's called the Tupelo Model or the Tupelo Miracle.
Yeah. But
then here's another thing, and you shared with me earlier today about the food bank. The food bank that's getting into workforce development, social services, and all that. And I'm thinking, whoa, a food bank is wanting to do more than just distribute food. They really want to end hunger, and they know how to end hunger in their community, get people the jobs that they need and the services they need, and help them get ahead, not just get by. And I was really, really encouraged by that conversation you had with that food bank out in North Carolina?
North Carolina, absolutely. Well, you know, Mike, the thing about it is, why is someone in the line in the first place, right? And we know that there is a reason why that they're in the line. When we dive in and we start asking questions and we start setting goals to be able to get them to a job that is going to pay them a wage so they can afford food, now they're no longer in a crisis scenario. And Dolores there from the food bank, she was like, you know, she's a benefits coordinator there within the food bank. That's her role, but she's bringing in other departments, working from workforce development, but getting people out of the line, essentially ending hunger. What does that look like? That's a process. That's measured progress to get someone to a place of self-sustainability. She understood that. We were talking about the outcomes feature, being able to set benchmark goals. Does this person have the kind of skill training that it takes to get them a good job? There's a lot of employers out there, but when you come in to apply, they're going to want to know, do you have welding? Do you skills training? Do you have the capability of working within, the specific goals that we have here for our employment? And when you say no, well, hey, this is a way of being able to equip someone working from that perspective when they're in the line to work with them. And here's the great thing about it, Mike, they're not going to stop getting food as long as they're working in that progress, making steps and doing what they should do. The food is going to be there. They're going to continue there at the food bank to provide them with that. But let's get you the job and the skill sets that's really going to take you to self-sustainability. Yeah. There's a change that's going on in our landscape where I think that people are realizing now that through technology, you can really change things, just measuring data. It's exciting.
So we thought that it was going to be the funders out there is going to push agencies into going with data-driven decision making. But and I'm glad to hear that people are making the changes on their own. They're not being pressured into doing it. They actually are catching vision for a community, helping itself, learning how to work together, and then bringing in a tool that makes that happen. And they're actually having these conversations out there again. Wow. That really warms my heart.
Well, Mike, we've been here working from the development perspective of some of the features like outcomes, like assessments, being able to focus in on the status of a client. But how important is something like that when you really are working with someone in that transition process? Transformation sometimes can be years in the making. However, how worthwhile is that? Because it's a work in progress. And working with someone in that particular arena. And let's face it, these kinds of things are going to stop the generational poverty that's going on, where we equip a family. We're not just talking about an individual now. We're talking about the representation, the example that's being given there for a family to know that there is a way out of this chronic crisis that they're in of always having to get assistance through a nonprofit agency or through charity. Now we're actually working proactively to get self-sustainability, dignity, and provide hope for not just the individual, but for the family, for the children that are looking to the parents as examples. What they need to do, they need to get a good job. How does that work? Good training, good education. And Mike, it's exciting because the food banks, they're diving into this, I think, and many of them, they're looking at those departments and working with the individuals that are in the line and getting them the help that they genuinely want. And many of them are they don't know what the next step is. And the food bank's there to assist them with this. Speaking of that, working from a referral perspective with another agency that can help you streamlining that process and that effort, right? And being able to refer someone that is there seeking food assistance to an agency that can help with the education, the job skills training, just being able to put everybody on the same page, working at the same time. And we're talking about some very progressive stuff that's going on in our country. And granted, things are challenging and times are tough, but we're not through yet. And these conversations that we're having are enlightening and they're exciting, Mike. People are seeing, that Charity Tracker and Oasis Insight can really help them with this. And it's very rewarding to have these conversations because you've been talking about this for years and what it looks like to really transform a community, right?
Yeah, when we say this is what it looks like.
This is what it looks like.
We've got case studies to show you this is what it looks like.
Exactly. I mean, Mike, the stories that we're hearing about transformation going on within the communities, we never get tired of hearing that. If you've got a story that you'd like to share with us, we would love to hear because a lot of this, what we're doing is ongoing documentation of these stories. And you may have a situation that you can share with us, and we would love to be able to put that up on our website as a testimonial, because how many times are people saying, well, who else is doing this? And how did they do this? And those kinds of pieces of information, so important. So we're documenting a lot of this, and you can check out a lot of this information there at collectivecommunityimpact.com. If you have a story, please, Mike at simonsolutions.com or Joey at simonsolutions.com. But we really want to tell these types of stories because we see that there is a lot of work that's going on out there. There's a lot of people that have not stopped in their hope for their community, transforming the community, make it stronger, better together, and being able to engage agencies and provide a level playing field, if you will. How many times do we hear that? We just want an ability to work together, and here's Charity Tracker to help with that. So some really good stuff and a great week of these kinds of stories, and just looking to provide people with answers to questions and solutions for the ongoing challenges that we are all facing within our communities nowadays. And, hope is still alive, Mike. Hope is still alive. As we get into 2023, hey, thank you so much for allowing us to serve those agencies out there that we have been honored to work with and partner with. We're so grateful and thankful for you and your vision for allowing us to be part of it. If you're not using Charity Tracker or Oasis Insight, hey, we would love to talk with you in 2023. We seek our solution to some of these challenges. And I think that the testimonials will provide you with a lot of answers, and they will assure you that hope is still alive and you can be part of that. For all of us here at Simon Solutions, may God bless. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.